Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about another 80s firearm. This gun was produced from 1970 until about 1998 when Wilkinson Arms went out of business. Ray Wilkinson was one of the pioneers of this handgun and was also originally a carbine. And what I'm holding here is a Lynda Pistol, but it started life as the Terry carbine. One of the same, mechanisms identical, just one was a carbine, the other was a pistol. So this Lynda Pistol is an original pre-band gun that was manufactured before they obviously went out of production in 1998. And it's one of those guns that when I was a kid growing up, I always saw it being advertised, always wanted one. It's just a cool looking handgun, very robust, extremely well made, but definitely not a military service type firearm for many different reasons. But it's built to very tight tolerances. It has a telescoping bolt in it, not boat, but it is a bolt that is very similar or reminiscent of the Uzi's design. So it's not lightweight, but the construction's very solid and has fixed sights. Just a neat, really cool piece of 80s and even 70s and 90s history. So the company went out of business in 1998, but in 2000, Northwest Arms, I believe is the name of the company, picked up manufacturing. Apparently they purchased the rights, and from 2000 to 2005, they produced the pistols and carbines, I believe both versions, until 2005, then they went out of business. Fast forward to, I think, 2016, and a gentleman by the name of Patrick McFarlane started producing the guns again. However, he's just producing the carbines currently. So here is the Lynda carbine. Now, originally this would have been called a Terry carbine and a Lynda pistol, which I just shown you, but later on, they just, to simplify the naming conventions, apparently they just decided to go with the Lynda, okay? Sounded better, I guess, than the Terry. But the Terry was the daughter's name of Ray Wilkinson that originally designed the gun in the 60s. I don't know where the name Lynda came from, but I don't know if it was named after his wife or another relative or something like that. All I know is that Terry was the name of his daughter. So the Lynda carbine that I'm holding here is 100% authentic, right down to the markings on the gun and the font used. Now there's a few little differences in this current production gun, which you can buy now. There's very few differences. All the parts I'm aware of are 100% compatible with the originals. Magazines are now available. These weapons had a very cult following, and the magazines were skyrocketing in price, and some folks were modifying certain brands of Browning high power magazines, trying to get them to work in the guns. All sorts of crazy stuff was going on, but now they're back into production and the magazines are readily available and fairly affordable compared to what they were once going for. But they have all the way up to 31 round magazines, I believe, for the gun. So the only real difference is I can tell between the original pre-band made at the original Wilkinson Arms, which is this pistol here, and the Lynda carbine. You'll notice that the furniture, the wood furniture, same type of wood. This one's just more angular, whereas the original is rounded. The serial numbers are in the exact same place. You can see the font used in marking the firearm is identical to the original. Even the location of where they put the serial number. Now, the only real difference I can see externally, besides the obvious differences in the handguard, is this marking right here on the trigger guard from Idaho. So the gun comes with a barrel shroud, has just slightly over a 16-inch barrel. It is thankfully threaded, 1/2 by 28, so you can run a silencer on it. We'll do that later this afternoon. And again, all the parts in this new carbine are, as far as I can tell, completely compatible with the originals. So if you have original and you have a broken part or something like that, you can now get replacement parts. This is a suppressor. This is a Rev 9, Revolution 9 from Griffin Armament. We'll put this on the gun a little bit later, but I wanted to point this out too. I'll have to figure out what the thread pitch is on this, but this original pistol has threads as well, but they're not 1/2 by 28. So I can't, unfortunately, put this can on the original pistol. It's a coarser thread. Once I figure that out, maybe there's an adapter for it. But I haven't shot this gun much. Matter of fact, I bought this gun new, and when I had gotten it, obviously it had never been fired. So I've been shooting it a little bit since I picked up the new model, and that's what we're going to do this afternoon, is just do a little bit of shooting with this gun. Now, I'm not going to field strip it because I don't believe there is a way to field strip this gun. It requires tools to properly take it apart, and it's something you're going to want to do back at home because it requires a couple different tools and some patience and stuff like that. Something I don't want to do in the field because I'm notorious for launching recoil springs and small parts into the woods, never to find them again. So let's load up some ammunition. Let's go over and start shooting the Lynda carbine and see how she runs, put a suppressor on her, and just have some fun with her today. I think we ought to have a pretty darn good time. It's just kind of going down memory lane for me, guys. I love these old 80s guns. Let's go over some of the controls of the Lynda carbine before I actually start shooting it. The charging handle is fixed and it's reciprocating. This is how I charge the gun. And it's also one of those things you have to remove when you disassemble it. But it has a very heavy, stout spring. You can kind of get an idea of that telescoping bolt here. You can see it working. Nice, heavy, stout spring. Your sights are fixed. Now, I did do some sight adjustments to this carbine when I first came out this afternoon. You're not able to simply slide the rear sight back and forth like you would do on a normal windage adjustable rear sight. It's not adjustable for elevation. If you know, you want to adjust your elevation on the front sight, you're gonna have to file on it, and if you go down, it's going to bring the point of impact up. And on the rear sight, I had to push this aperture to the left a little bit, and I used a brass punch to accomplish that, but I think I got it mostly zeroed out here at about 50 yards. Has a very ergonomic feeling grip, pretty much a straight magazine well that comes down here, and then they've bolted on this little palm swell. You have a cross block safety. It just simply keeps you from pulling the trigger. Fire is to the left and safe is to the right with the nub protruding. Over here you have a magazine release. You push that and you can pull the magazine out of the gun. The magazines do not drop free from the carbine. It has this, I'm guessing it's a walnut. I'm no expert on types of wood, but the actual buttstock itself is made out of aluminum, I believe. And then it has this bolted on piece of walnut, just like the originals. I mean, it's so cool that they've brought this back. And again, it just, not only because it's an 80s gun, again, it has that cult following, but it's kind of funny too, because Jason was reminding me when we came out here to shoot this afternoon that this gun I'm all crazy about. When I would have been shooting this gun, when I was able to do my own 4.473 forms, which would have been right around 87 or 88, he was still in diapers and pooping himself. So there you have it. Okay, too much information. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm shooting some Fiocchi 115 grain ball ammo, and this stuff is available from Freedom Munitions. They sell not just Freedom over at the Freedom website, but they also sell Fiocchi and some other brands. There is a 6% discount code down below. Guys, you can use that code. It's good for everything in the store, and I get no kickbacks from it. It's just a favor that the guys at Freedom do for our viewers. All right, so this is the original pistol magazine pre-band that came with my Lynda Pistol, and it obviously works in the Lynda carbine as well. Go ahead and chamber that first round, and let's see if I can ring that big steel plate here at about 50 yards with the carbine. Take the safety off. Yeah, she actually runs really good with that 115 grain ball ammo. Let's walk forward because I know what the next question you guys have, and we're just going to answer it right now and get it out of the way. I know what you guys are going to ask me next in the comments down below. Does it take Glock magazines? Of course not. It takes Wilkinson Arm proprietary magazines. Secondly, how well does an 80s hip fire? Well, let's find out. You're probably thinking I'm a complete idiot, and maybe I am, but what I'm shooting, guys, is some 100 grain ammunition from Freedom Munitions and their frangible bullets. These things are pretty cool, guys. It's only like 31 cents a round or 30 cents a round, and it's completely safe to shoot at steel targets. I walked right up onto it. I'm not telling you guys to do what I just did, but it is designed for that purpose. It's green ammunition, it's non-toxic, non-corrosive, and what's funny is it seems to run okay in the Lynda, even with its, see if Jason can get a look at it, with its flat nose bullet design. That's pretty cool, isn't it, guys? Yeah, we'll be playing around more with that ammunition in the future and give you guys my honest feedback on it. Let's see how well it works in different types of firearms and stuff. But so far, that looks like some really fun stuff. You know, guys, every time we come out to shoot, one of two things or both things happens. The neighbors start shooting, or Jason's dad starts mowing the lawn. Today it's Jason's dad mowing the lawn. Every single time. So hopefully the snow will fly here soon and you guys don't have to hear the motor of a lawnmower running in the background. Okay, so I've loaded an 18-round magazine into the Lynda. One thing I didn't point out earlier, it has a dust cover that seals it up. So it's reminiscent of an AR-15. Of course, it'll pop itself open after I fire that first round or chamber that first round. I'll go ahead and close it here. All right, that's about 75 yards offhand. Not bad. The thing shoots really, really good. Now let's load up some subsonic rounds and see how the Lynda performs with a suppressor. I think I got one of those around here somewhere. Oh yeah, the suppressor. Let's go load up some rounds. That Shroud is almost the same diameter as the suppressor. All right, so the 31 round magazine had 31 rounds of 115 grain ball in it already. So let's see if it works with the suppressor attached. Suppressors change the dynamic just a little bit. I'm just curious. Yeah, that's loud. Very loud sonic boom down range. I'm gonna go ahead and put my ears back on. Might be hearing safe, but I got to hold on to what hearing I have left. Those subsonics are definitely hearing safe. All right. Yeah, she works 100% suppressed or unsuppressed with those 115 grainers. All right, we have 20 rounds loaded into the 31 round magazine. We'll see how well these feed. See, it's the shape of the nose of the bullet for some reason hits the ramp at an odd angle and it simply won't feed that round. All it wants to do is push that bullet back in. It just doesn't like those 147s. I don't know if it's the seating depth of the bullet that's messing with it or what, but yeah, it definitely isn't gonna go. So we'll strip that magazine out. All right, we stripped that one round out of there. Let's try it one more time. 19 rounds. Isn't gonna do it. For whatever reason, it will not feed these subsonics. Oh well, we tried. There's two things I want to point out about the Lynda carbine. First of all, if you take a look at the original pistol, which I have here, and you look at the bottom of it, you'll see what looks like a old school sling mount. And it is. You can put a strap sling on that. But there's a plate right here with a screw holding it in place. You'll notice on the new production Lynda carbine, which is configured the exact same way, the parts are interchangeable, you can see right here how the stock indexes into that sling mount. And then with that plate removed, it has a screw holding the whole assembly in place. Now there's another thing you want to do when you shoot this gun. Now remember when I said that it wasn't really a military type firearm, and this is one of the reasons why. Field stripping it requires at least two different tools in terms of two different sizes of Allen keys, and you have to be careful because sometimes these screws will come loose with use if they're not Loctited, and these aren't, and you can start to have those screws back out. But I wanted to point out how easily you could adapt a stock to the old carbines if you want to turn them into SBRs. Plus they have, if you already have the carbine, they have different adapters for different things. I believe they have an underfolder adapter, they have an AR-15 tube adapter, all sorts of stuff. They also offer this gun with a 1913 pick rail on top of it, but I kind of like the classic look, and that's why I have the classic carbine. Yes, I bought this Lynda pistol new, and yes, I've shot it before, but just to prove it to you guys, I shoot all my collectibles If I can't shoot it, I won't buy it. Some 115 grain Fiocchi. Let's see if these sights are on. Oh, those sights are so meant for a rifle. Huh. Yeah, I can't see the sights. That fine aperture is definitely intended to have a stock or be used with a stock, because I really can't. Such a fine hole, I really can't even see the front sight post. So I just kind of point in the general direction of that target downrange. Yeah, I much prefer my new and improved, not at all, it's the same gun for the most part. All parts are interchangeable, but Lynda carbine. Here we go. This is more my speed. Very controllable, very shootable, and I absolutely love shooting this thing. Not only does it remind me of my youth, but these things are $799 and they're currently available on the Wilkinson Arms website. And if you're my age, you remember these guns, it's worth $799 in my opinion to pick one up, and it's a great little blaster. The only problems we've ran into is running those subsonics, and just that one particular flavor of subsonics. It's not to say it won't cycle other 147 grain loads. I don't know, that's all I had out here, and we had to run back to the house to get it. But with the 115 grain ball, zero issues at all. Completely 100% reliable, and just a pure pleasure to shoot. I think I'll let Jason shoot it. He's calling me a weirdo for liking these old guns, but I gotta have him shoot it and just get his honest opinion on what he thinks of shooting the guns that he was still pooping himself while in diapers while I was enjoying as a kid. I guess I was an adult, something like that. I just want you guys to know that Jason used to poop himself. I think he still does.
So with just kind of fooling around with the gun before firing it, I noticed, you know, at least on my grip, got to take my grip off to reach the magazine release. The magazines, they don't drop free, that's for sure. You definitely got to pull them out. And boy, what a stout spring they have in there. Really unique looking gun. I kind of like it. It's definitely an 80s gun. And yes, I was born in about the mid 80s, and yes, I was probably filling diapers full of poop. Thanks, Tim. But hey, let's shoot this thing. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed coming out this afternoon and doing a little bit of shooting with us with the Lynda carbine. Yes, it's a blast from the past for me. It's something that I grew up wishing I could own as a kid. I didn't get to own one until I was in my 30s. Now they're back in production. Wilkinson Arms is back to making the Lynda carbine. They offer it in different flavors. You can get it with folding stocks and AR-15 adapters and Picatinny rails. I opted for the classic look, again, because it reminds me of my youth. No matter what the occasion or what the interest, you may want to consider picking one of these up if you're just looking for a different 9mm carbine. We had no issues whatsoever with the gun, with 115 grain ball using this Fiocchi ammunition, which is from our friends over at Freedom Munitions. There is a discount code down below, by the way, guys, you can use to get 6% off anything in the store at the Freedom Munitions store. Also, guys, if you would like to support the Military Arms channel, we ask that you swing by and check out our Patreon page. At Patreon, we show you behind-the-scenes information. We do blowout deals through Copper Custom. We post behind-the-scenes information. We post original blog posts. We give random giveaways, drawings from stuff from videos that we shoot, and sometimes we even bring a Patreon or two out to shoot video with us, so you guys can see Copper Custom and see what goes into making one of these videos. So don't just support the Military Arms channel, guys. If you have your favorite content creators out there that you like to watch regularly, they're all being affected by the demonetization of YouTube. Look them up on Patreon and support them all. Even if that means not giving me as much, I don't care. Support all your favorite content creators. It's the only way that these guys are going to be able to make it going forward, it seems, with YouTube. Also, please consider joining the NRA. Right now we have something of a unique opportunity. We have the SHARE Act that's out there, and the NRA is fighting to get that sucker passed. We have a friendly White House, Senate, and House. Hopefully we can restore some of our lost rights with the new leadership at the NRA under the leadership of Pete Brownell. Please use the link down below when you join or renew your membership. That link brings me money. That money I give 100% away to Hero Hunt, which is a nonprofit organization that helps our wounded warriors and first responders. So it goes to a great cause. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for all those years of support. Now we're going to run out the last 18 or so rounds, and we'll see you next time. Yeah, I love it. Might have to hang this over my desk at the shop. I'm glad they're back in business.